to take an opportunity, we'd like to take this opportunity to thank you for all for connecting with us on our Thursday series with business development. This evening is a evening where we get to have an opportunity once again to connect with our very own, the president of EMEA and LATAM, Cameron Bott, is with us again this evening on a Thursday to come and inspire the Africa region, to come and revive us. You know, we go through day-to-day life where we come across so many challenges. And with what we have seen with our previous connections with Cameroon, after every call that we've had with him, we have been revived. My name is Neo Ntunye, Africa Region Business Development. And on this call this evening, I'm not alone. I'm with the head of business development, Blessing Idet, who is in Nigeria. And I'll hand over to Blessing to officially welcome Cameroon to the call. Thank you so much. Over to you, Blessing.
Hello, Africa. I think Naya has done a wonderful introduction already. I'm just super excited. I'm looking forward to be motivated, to learn, and to be able to use this information to propel my life to the next level. I hope that's what you're doing with all of this information that we're getting in this series, especially with Cameroon, that you're utilizing it and using it to move your business to the next level. I'll hand over to Cameron, please.
Awesome. Thank you so much. First of all, I want to make sure you can hear me okay, because I've got my headphones in. I want to make sure the volume's great. Everything working okay?
Perfect.
Beautiful. Awesome. Well, hey, thank you for those beautiful introductions, Nao. Blessing. Super excited to be with you this evening. It's always a pleasure to be on our Africa calls. Now, we're just getting started right now, so if you have any friends, any people you want to get on the call, send them a message. Let's get them in here. We're going to be going through some good mindset stuff today. So one of the things I want to let you know too is we've got a big effort that we're going to be focusing on in Africa. Right? Africa is a very critical and important place for us. When putting the effort in, putting the resources that we need to grow this thing, we need the participation. So let's keep going. We've got some big plans, some big things happening. But for today, we're going to focus on a piece of mindset that happens to fall into that category of continuing the fight, continuing the push, right? Because sometimes it gets a little overwhelming. Sometimes it gets a little bit frustrating. Sometimes as we are trying to achieve our goals, we get a little bit tired and things happen, right? The mindset that we've been talking about for a long time is this mindset, if you'll remember, of enjoying the journey, right? And it's not about pushing everything off into the end. It's not about waiting until retirement. It's not about, doing everything now and hoping that later good things are going to happen. So I want to talk about something really important to me, but before I do, I'm going to share my screen. Let's do this. Okay. 92%. This is interesting. And this is kind of an interesting statistic. 92% of people give up on their goals within a month after setting them on January 1st. Okay. How many of you have ever fallen into that trap? I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to do everything that I can. I'm going to read a book a day. There's so many things that we put our mind to when we set these goals. But the fact is that 92% of people fail to achieve their goals and in fact give up on their goals within a few months after setting them. Why is that? Now today, remember, as we're going through our mindset training, this is an interactive thing. We want you putting notes in here. So I'm going to be asking you questions. Take notes, but put comments in the chat. So my first question to you, why do you believe that people give up on their goals 92% of the time after setting them? Let's look in the chat here. Lose focus. Sarah, you're absolutely correct. People lose focus, and there's multiple reasons why people lose focus. Oh, Kula, not specific enough. That is a perfect answer. In fact, that was one of the main reasons why people give up on their goals, is because they don't set specific goals. Keep going. I want to talk about setting specific goals as well. They don't understand their why. Not a strong enough why. Seems too far out of reach. Goals aren't attached to their why, and they're too large. Interesting. Doubt, lack of commitment. I love these. Okay. Let's take a few of these one by one for a second here. Not specific enough. That one is very clear. That one's easy to solve. But when people say, well, I set a goal for losing 20 pounds, that's pretty specific. That is not a specific goal. A specific goal has to have the how-tos as well. I'm going to lose 20 pounds in 2 months by cutting out simple sugars, carbohydrates, exercising 2 times a week for 30 minutes. Like, the more specific you can get and the more granular you can get, the more your mind will grasp onto that concept and say, hey, that's actually something I can do, and I'm deciding that I'm going to do it. Okay. Sarah, that leads to your point. Why do people lose focus? Well, they lose focus because it's not specific. The more specific you put it, the more thought you have to put into setting the goal. So if you have a very unspecific goal, you're not thinking about it, you have no focus. And in fact, most people, sorry to say, you have no intention of actually doing that goal. Okay. Don't understand their why. That is a huge one. Why am I actually doing it? Why am I losing weight? Is it because somebody in the office told me that I was fat and needed to lose weight? That's not a good why, right? Who cares what people think? Is your why because I want to lose weight because I have a history of heart disease in my family and I've got 3 kids. I want to make sure that I'm here until I'm 95. Like, there's so many differences between your whys. If your why is just to look good, maybe that's a big enough why for you. It's not a big enough why for me, right? I have a lovely wife. She loves me for who I am. Fat, not fat, whatever. I'm kind of lucky, right? My why should be, I want to be around for my kid. Okay. This one, Charlie, it seems too far out of reach. And that's one that I want to talk about today as well. We're going to get into that in just a minute. Goals aren't attached to their why, and they're too large. It's fantasy. It's not a reality. You don't have a goal board. Lack of belief in themselves, right? 1 year's too long. They have goals, but don't sit down and create a plan. Love all of these. I want to take a little bit different direction today and talk to you about why I think people give up. Let me get into here. Okay. How many of you work out regularly or have gone to the gym or have run a race? I've done all of them. And I want to give you an example because I've just started over the past month doing a lot more weight training. Okay. And that's lifting weights, doing a lot of heavy lifting. And one of the things that I've noticed is that I set very specific goals for myself each day. This is the weight that I'm going to lift. This is the amount of times I'm going to do it and the amount of reps. So for me, if I'm doing arms, I'm going to lift 50 pounds per arm. I'm going to do it 3 reps, 12 times each. Something really interesting happens to me though when I start lifting. When I'm at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and I start going, my body doesn't get tired until I start counting. And as I get to 11 and 12, that last one, those are the 2 hardest for me to do. So I was thinking about it. I said, I wonder if it's a mental thing or if it really is my muscle just giving up. So I said, okay, I have the intention of doing 12, but I'm going to tell my mind that I'm doing 20. And so I start trying for 20. You know what the interesting thing is I'm going 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. And it's not till I got to 20. I realized that instead of doing 12 and getting tired at 12, I could get tired at 19 and 20. So I started thinking, it is totally mental. It is a mental mindset that is stopping us in our tracks. So you guys know me. I love to bring up quotes on here. I love to bring quotes that I love, but more importantly, I love to bring the quotes that I hate. So here's the quote that I hate. You have to focus on the finish line from the starting line. These are words of wisdom from people. I hate that quote. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I don't like it. Just like I don't like the quote of live today, sacrifice everything today so that you can have a great retirement. I hate that quote. Hate it. Because I think we should be living our life with purpose every single day. Why do I not like this focus on the finish line quote? I want to get your thoughts. Why do you think that maybe I don't like this quote? I'd just like to see if you guys know. Well, I'm going to go to the next slide and I'm going to show you. Sarah, you just crushed it. There is no finish line. Are you kidding me? If I set a finish line and say, all I have to do is go to this finish line, what happens after that? Well, my goal is to gain 30 pounds in muscle. I've gained that. That's my finish line. And then I stop. Then what happens? Naturally, guess what? Our bodies, when we stop working out, the muscle goes away. We retreat to these things. There should never be a finish line in our life. We should be focusing on the long term. How do you change your mindset from a finish line mindset? Let's see. Grace, absolutely. Mental mindset stops, retards achieving and setting your goals. If we put that block in place, we're going to stop. So how do we change that? Well, you can just tell yourself there is no finish line. But a lot of times people struggle with this idea that I'm going to have to work forever. Are you kidding me? I don't want to work for the rest of my life. And I keep saying, I totally understand that. In fact, I don't want to work every day for the rest of my life. I want to enjoy every day of my life. But I know if I set a finish line, I mean, you guys remember the story of my dad. I'm going to set a finish line. It's my retirement date. Some people don't make it. I'm going to tell you another sad story. So my best friend in the neighborhood, his name is Randy Gruninger. Randy was absolutely one of the most amazing human beings I've ever met in my life. Had the biggest smile. Just a wonderful human being. 2 Saturdays ago, I was talking to him and he was on a golfing trip in Canada. And he called me and said, hey, are you going to be around on Tuesday? It's my retirement party. I said, yes, I'll absolutely be there. I'm so excited for you. What are you going to do after your retirement? He says, I'm going to do some golfing. I don't know yet. I'll figure it out. So that was Saturday. I got a call on Sunday morning and Randy Gruninger was killed in a car accident in Canada on his golf trip. Randy did not make it to his retirement party on Tuesday. Again, not a situation that I think happens to everybody or I think happens to the masses, but it's a situation that, again, brought to my mind, and I don't know why I've been having a lot of these situations other than I think that I really need to share this with people. Life is not about the finish line. Life is not about the retirement. Life should be enjoyed every single day. So to accomplish this long-term focus, we need to figure out, Sarah, you keep nailing it, the journey every single day. What does that include? So my day, obviously, I need to work. I've got to feed my family. I've got to do things that are going to be bringing reliability and long-term, comfort to my family and my wife. But I also, at the end of the day, want to make sure that I'm sitting down with my children and doing fun things with them, asking them about their day. On every Monday now, we have this thing that we call family home evening, where everybody stays home, all of our kids and our family. We play games, we teach a little bit of a lesson, we goal plan, we goal set, we talk about each other's lives, and we understand each other. And that's a fun thing for me. Every Saturday, I like to go out and hang out with the family. I coach my kids baseball. Now my youngest little daughter, she's playing softball. I'm coaching her now. It's a lot of time and effort, but guess what? Now, instead of saying, well, when I retire, I'll coach you. When I retire, we'll go hang out. When I retire, we'll go camping. I'm fitting that into my day. And so now when I come to work, I go, oh, this is just a part of my journey every day, and I enjoy it. Sarah, you should be teaching this one. Okay. Sarah, balance your life, your family, your health, your business, your connections, your adventure. You have to be able to do that. Easier said than done, though, right? Because inevitably, oh, and I love this quote. This is one quote that I do love. Being the first one to cross the finish line, and this is, again, what so many people focus on, is crossing that finish line, being the first, makes you a winner in only one phase of life. Very temporary moment. It's what you do after you cross the line that really counts. Think about the Olympics that just happened. All of these athletes train and train and train and train and train for one moment in their life. One moment. They cross the finish line, and then it's done. These athletes could choose to say, I accomplished my goal, I'm finished, I'm never going to do anything again. And I would consider that a waste. Or they can say, I'm going to take my life and I'm going to teach people, I'm going to train, I'm going to help. Then that's really what counts. I love this quote right there. What you do after you cross the line is what really counts. Okay. Now, I want to tell you a story. I'm going to stop sharing real quick here. Keep that image in your mind, that picture of a family sitting by a car by the side of the road. And I want to tell you a story. And I apologize if you've heard this story before. I can't remember if I've shared this one or not, but I'm going to share it again. So this is something you need to remember as we're going through this journey. Every one of us is going to have times when it feels too hard, right? When we need to know that things will get better. This, in my mind, I think is one of the bigger reasons why people give up, is because it gets hard. Okay. How many of you have run into a hard situation? Actually, let me ask a first question. How many of you have a life that has been free of drama, that has been free of hardship? Because if you've had that life, I would love to know how you did it, right? Because I can't imagine that's the case. No, I don't think anybody's had a life that is free from hardship. Where is that life? Exactly. What's that life? I don't believe that exists. Okay? However, we can have a life that even when the hardship comes through, we can understand that it's a part of the process, part of the show. Okay. So my declaration to you today is precisely this, that we need to remember we are on a journey throughout this life. Hardship is part of it, just like the fun parts are, just like work is, just like hanging out with our family. I'll tell you a story. So 13 years ago, last month, this little family set out to cross the country, or excuse me, the globe. And one of these trips, it was taking them across the United States. Every earthly possession that they had, they packed into the smallest trailer that was available. Okay. This family had no money, a really old car, and they drove exactly 34 kilometers up the highway, at which point their little car exploded. Smoke, everything coming out of the car. Okay. Young father gets out of the car, looks at the steam coming out of it, matches it with his own steam coming out of his ears. He's so angry and so upset and so frustrated. And then he left his trusting wife and little child, who was just 3 months old, to wait in the car while he walked 34 kilometers to the nearest metropolis town called Canaryville. Okay, population 65. I'm talking just a ridiculous little town. Okay, to secure some water to put in the car. Water was secured, and a very kind citizen offered to drive the man back to his stranded family. The car was attended to, water was added to it, and slowly, very slowly, the car was driven back 34 kilometers for inspection. Now, after more than 2 hours of checking and rechecking, no immediate problem could be found with the car. Fine, you can drive it. So once again, the journey began. The man and his family got in the car and began their journey in exactly the same spot, in exactly the same amount of time, 34 kilometers down the highway, the same pyrotechnics from underneath the car, the same smoke, the same explosion happened on the highway. Now, feeling a little more foolish than angry, the young father once more left his little family in the car, walked 34 kilometers down the road to find some help. This time, the man who offered to help him said, either you or that guy who looks just like you should probably get a new car. And he didn't know whether to laugh or cry at the plight of the young family. He asked the man, he said, how far did you come? He said, 34 kilometers. How much farther do you have to go? 2,600 kilometers, the man said. He said, well, you might make that trip, and your wife and that little kid might make that trip, but none of you are going to make that trip in that car. Just 2 weeks ago, I drove by that exact same spot. And for just an instant, I thought I saw perhaps on the side of the road an old car with a devoted young wife, a little child, and just ahead of them, I imagined I saw myself walking towards Canaryville, the weight of a young father's fear evident in his face and in his pace. And then in that instance, I couldn't help calling out to him, don't you quit. You keep walking. You keep trying, because there is help and there is happiness ahead. Some good things come soon, people. This is what I'm telling you. Some good things come soon. Some come late, and some good things don't come at all until after we're gone. But for those who embrace a mindset of never giving up and enjoying the journey, will realize that everything's going to be all right in the end. You have to trust and you have to believe that good things are coming. That is the only thing that I can think of to overcome this mindset of what I'd call fear, right? This is too hard. I want to quit. This is too much for me. You have to remember that if you keep on the path and trust yourself, do the things you're supposed to be doing every single day, good things will come. Good things will happen. You will get to and past the finish line. You will be able to accomplish your goals, but you have to make sure you're not giving up. So that is the title of today's training. Don't give up. Whatever you have to do to figure out stopping yourself from giving up. You guys have talked so much about it already. Setting clear and realistic goals. An important one, okay? But remember, you can set all of the goals that you want. You can make them specific. You can make them clear. You can make them lifelong. But if you don't have the mental capacity or the mental focus to say, I realize that maybe all of the goals that I've set aren't going to happen in the way that I expect them to happen, then you've got trouble. Do you think I expected my car to blow up twice on the same trip? No. I had full plans of my car working perfectly to get me across the United States. I had a full plan of everything working out. I had my timeline. I knew exactly what was going to happen. And guess what? Not one thing happened the way I thought it was going to happen. But look where we are today. Look where I am today. The opportunity still happened. I still got there. But I learned something along the way. I learned that even though things aren't going my way, the way that I planned, that doesn't mean I can give up. I want you to think about the opposite. What would have happened if I had given up? Well, I'll tell you, if I had given up and said, my car is blown up, I'm done. I'm not going to go. I would have missed an opportunity for a career that eventually got me to this career. I would have missed an opportunity to meet friends that are lifelong friends right now. My kids wouldn't have learned the lessons that they've learned. They wouldn't have had the opportunities to see the great places in the world that they've seen. I don't know where my life would have been. I don't want to imagine what that looks like. All I know is that not giving up led me to this great place. That's it. Guys, simple. It's a simple lesson for today. How does that relate to you, though? I don't want to talk specifically Africa. Africa, we have so many plans for it, and we still have great plans for Africa. Sometimes they don't go to plan because governments change rules, or because timing's not right, or because company switches, or because things happen. Guess what? We're on our journey. We're walking on the road right now. We just got the water back in Canaryville, and we're walking back to the car. Okay. Maybe it's exploded once. Maybe it's exploded twice. That's okay. You have a critical decision point right now, and people have a critical decision point right now. Do you give up, or do you keep going? Because I'm telling you, good things are coming. Good things are in the horizon. And I can tell you right now, I can't control if you give up or not. But I believe that 13 years down the road from now, if you do give up, you'll look back and go, I shouldn't have given up. And I fundamentally believe that 13 years from now, if you choose to keep going, you're going to look at yourself and go, yes, look at that person. I see the fear in his eyes. I see the weight on his shoulders. I see the family that he has to take care of. He did it. Proud of that person. And look at all of the beautiful things that have come because of that. Guys, it doesn't matter if it's the Africa opportunity. It doesn't matter if it's a family, whatever it is. Don't give up on yourselves. I have faith in all of you. You should have faith in yourselves. You should have faith in each other. Because when you put your mind to it and you set your mindset, anything is achievable. Good things are to come. That's my message for today. I'm going to leave that with you guys. I want you to think about that. I want you to think about, and here's my homework for you today. Think about the things that are in your way right now to achieving your goals. Do you have a clear path? Do you have a clear goal? Are they specific? Are they not over exaggerated? Right? I mean, I don't believe that I'm going to be a billionaire in 36 days. Be awesome. Right? But that's probably a little lofty goal for me. Okay. Make sure that they are achievable too. But I want you to evaluate in your life current obstacles that you have that make you feel like you want to quit. Look at them for what they actually are. My car blew up. I had to spend a bunch of money. Had to get a new car. That sucked. I didn't have money for that, right? Went into debt for it. Guess what? I found a way to pay it off. Found a way to do it. So survey your issues that you have right now. Figure out a way around them. And most of all, commit to yourself that you're not going to quit. That commitment to yourself, if you really believe it, there's few things I've committed to in my life. I've committed to a lot of them, right? I'll never leave my family. Won't cheat on my wife. Right? That's a commitment I made to her, and I committed to myself. That never is going to be an option, right? Certain things certain things I won't do, and there are certain things that I will do that I've committed to myself. I want you to commit right now just as hard as you would commit to those things that you are not going to allow yourself to quit. Sound good? Give me a thumbs up if you're willing to do that. I learned as a young traveling missionary that if you invite somebody to do something, you can't just say, I want you to do this. You have to say, are you willing to do this? And I want a commitment from you. If you're willing to do it, give me a thumbs up in there. All right, let's take a look at some of the notes here. This is the time of year where tiredness hits. I agree. Kids are finally going back to school. Hallelujah. I just sent my 3 kids off to school again this morning. I'm like, they're out of the house. I've loved having summer with them, but it's been tired. Now is the time to recommit. Okay. All right, getting thumbs up. Absolutely. Love it, love it, love it. Sarah, yes. Answer to you is yes. Great. Everybody, thank you. And I try to keep these short because I know your time is precious, and I just like to keep really pointed, easy things to understand. But I hope this is helpful. I hope that it helps shape your mindset and helps you understand where you can go, what you can do, because all of you are incredible. You're all amazing human beings and have wonderful things in store for you in the future. So That's our message for you today. Thank you so much, everybody. I look forward to seeing you on the next mindset call. We'll have another great topic for you. Until then, keep on going, keep crushing your goals, don't give up, and have an amazing evening. Much love from us here at Corporate. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you. Pass it back to you, Blessing.
Thank you so much, Cameron. Always a blessing to be on this call. This mindset series have truly been helpful. The feedback is amazing that we get from the field. Thank you for another one today. It has come at a very timely time. Don't give up. Don't give up. Good evening, Africa. Have a lovely evening. From all of us at Corporate, thank you.
Thank you, Blessing. Thank you, Cameron.
Thank you.
See you, everybody.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
team. Have a great
Blessing.
evening.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye.
Blessing. Thank you,
Thank you.
Cameron. Thanks, Nayo.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Good evening.
Thank
Cheers.
you,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Blessing. Thank you, Neil.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Blessing. Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Cameron. Look forward to connecting.
Bye-bye.